Hey guys, I'm going to talk to you guys about a critic. What a critic said about a recent video, and this video was about Saladino. He had this minute-long short that he posted on Instagram, and I just like took it apart systematically. I like each reference I took apart, and it was just obvious to me that it was wrong. And it turns out that like another YouTuber whose name shall not be mentioned made a video about it. I didn't watch the video. I didn't even check it out. Like all I did is I went to that channel and I went to that video and I just said like, I don't know, I don't remember what I said. I said like, someday when this is relevant, if you're ever relevant, I'll debate you on this, but otherwise like I'm not wasting my time watching this video. Because this guy, and people who know who this is, like either he like dresses up in like military uniforms or like he does like a lot of weird stuff and he has like really weird videos and where he like says everybody's dumb except for him and like makes fun of them personally. So I wasn't gonna like watch that. It was like over an hour. I wasn't gonna watch that, but I ended up getting mobbed on my channel by like a bunch of his followers, and I had to block a bunch of people. And like, let's be clear, to anybody who wants to criticize anything I say, I more than welcome criticism, but there's like two main conditions, okay? The first condition is if you criticize me, like in a personal way, especially if it's very personal, like you get real nasty and you like start saying like I'm balding or something. And it's not that I care too much that I'm balding. The only reason I care that I'm balding is like I would like to have hair sometimes. If I switch my hairstyle, like that would be nice. It's buzzed now, right? But it would be cool to have hair again and then like have a cool hairstyle and not have this deep receding hairline. That would be cool. But I don't care that much, actually. That's why I've trimmed it. In fact, I don't want to deal with hair right now because I'm so busy. But like, if you want to like make personal comments like about my appearance and about how like you want to like call me an idiot, like things that don't have substance, I'm gonna block you and delete your comments because I'm not dealing with that negativity, right? Or if you just like straight up don't even make a criticism, you just say I'm wrong, like you're wrong, seed oils are bad or something like that, I'm gonna block you. So it has to have substance, right? It has to have substance and it has to be relatively civil. And if it's not, if one of those things is not true, if it doesn't have substance or it's not civil, either one, you're getting blocked and your comments getting removed. Now there are some exceptions. If I know you really well and we have a good working relationship and then you like have a day where you say something like that, like you're wrong, Kevin, you're a jerk. It's fine. I can tolerate that if I know you and we'll put up with it. If it becomes a pattern, I'll block you. Like I'm not dealing with people who are going to like from the outset be like that in my channel, and I'm not dealing with people who like switch to that mode with me and they don't like me. We're gonna focus on the science, and I'm always gonna focus on the science. Now, if somebody else taunts me like that other podcast or that other YouTuber did, I might go onto that channel and call them irrelevant, and I'm not watching your video. But yeah, I mean, he you know, so that's the I'm just telling him, and I'm not commenting on his video. I'm not trying to engage him. So people are free to do that. If you just don't like me, you don't want to engage with me, you come make a comment like that. But I'm just gonna block you. And it's no harm, no bad feelings. You know, I don't have any bad feelings towards you. I just don't want that negativity. You know what I mean? I have no hard feelings towards you because I'm just gonna block you. You know, I'm not even gonna deal with it, so I don't have any issue with you. If you want to like change and make constructive comments, you can send a message to me on another platform and request that I unblock you, and I might. But that's like it's like a one strike policy. So if you do it again, you're definitely out forever. I'm never unblocking you. And it's just because, you know, I don't have to deal with it. I don't have to deal with that kind of stress. Given that, there were some people who made comments that were interesting, like one person. Most of them, like 20 or so of them, 20 or so people, like commented there was all dumb things. I'm an idiot. Seed oils are obviously bad. Seed oils are killing everybody. So I blocked all of them, but there was one guy who actually tried to engage, and he hasn't tried to engage after I responded to him, but I'm gonna actually make a video about what he said to me because it might clear up some misconceptions about some of the things he said. So he says, honestly, most of your rebuffs in the podcast were pretty weak. It's pretty easy to find info on canola's not all seed oils use until about 50 years ago as light machine lubricant. Yeah, for canola oil in particular, okay, I copy pasted the wrong thing. Some tea I didn't mean to post. Okay, so it says how Canada convinced the world to eat engine lubricant. Canola is one of the world's most popular edible oils, but 50 years ago, you would have only found it in mechanic shops. Yeah, there's this post from the Financial Post, right, where they talk about this, that canola oil, or at least rapeseed oil, used to be used as an engine lubricant, and then it was bred in a different way, such that the uric acid and another toxin inside the oil was bred out of it. So then it became possible for humans to eat it. Yeah, there's that. But actually in that post and in that video, there's not any citations showing that canola oil or rapeseed oil was used as a machine lubricant. There's actually no citations, okay? And that's aside the point, because again, lard is also a machine lubricant. Like, they use it as a machine lubricant. It's like, so what? Fats are used as machine lubricants. Oils are used as machine lubricants. That's what oils are. And oils that are also edible can be used as machine lubricants, but they can also be eaten, or they can be used as cooking for lard. So some people who hate seed oils, like, say you should use lard instead. Well, why? That's also used as machine lubricant. You could probably use like ghee as a machine lubricant. You could probably use, maybe it's a little bit too hard, but maybe at like high heat machine lubricant, because ghee is too solid. But yeah, so that's a little strange to me, that Paul would say that it's all seed oils started as machine lubricants, and then they like weren't machine lubricants anymore. They turned into like edible oils. But this only happened for canola oil in the 70s. This wasn't all seed oils, it was only canola oil. So he's like using canola oil as like a way to say all seed oils were. That's not how it actually was. Most seed oils found their way originally into the diet through Crisco, their hydrogenation process that I talked about in the other video. They didn't find their way in as machine lubricants. They're just taking, people who are saying that are just taking one example, and then they're saying that that's like everything. But like, that's just one example on one particular seed oil that had that particular history that the other seed oils actually don't even share. So, and then again, lard was also used as a machine lubricant. So what are you talking about? Like, how does this story even work? And the reason it works is because, again, eating a machine lubricant is gross. There's some like weird kind of like stilted foundation. In fact, it's not really an honest foundation, in fact, of this idea that it's a machine lubricant. So just say it was a machine lubricant. It's really a machine lubricant. Don't eat it. Don't mention that lard is also a machine lubricant. And then you have your story. You have your way of like saying seed oils are bad. But it's like totally fictitious and made up, and it's just a constructed story in order to say what you already are biased to believe, and has nothing to do with the truth. Like, why do that? Like, if you're an honest person, why play that game? The only conclusion I can come up with is like, people don't care about the truth. They only want other people to do what they feel they should do. So I feel that seed oils are bad, so I'm going to tell you all sorts of fake things about them to make you think the same thing. Because seed oils are bad, and you don't really need to know the truth. You don't need to think for yourself. Because I know. you know? So this is the zealotry, the sense that because I know so well, I know better than you, I can therefore tell you what to do by telling you lies, essentially, and robbing you of your autonomy. Because if I tell you a bunch of lies about reality in such a way that it makes it obvious that you have to do one thing or another, and these lies are at odds with the truth, and the truth doesn't lay out reality in such a way that you only have one option, then you're basically forcing other people to do things. You're coercing them with lies. You're stripping them of their autonomy. And that's what people do whenever they lie about anything that has practical application or practical consequences. When they lie about it, they're stripping other people of their autonomy. It's like, it's kind of authoritarian to do that. Not to say, which is funny because like I believe very much like in in like strong centralized authorities and stuff, just because I have this sense that in some instances, not in all, there's a lot of instances in which strong centralized authorities are really bad. Markets, for example, although there are some aspects of markets that are also good to regulate, but there is a place for decentralization too. But like, the funny thing is people call me authoritarian, but actually like lying about stuff is way more authoritarian. Lying is the most authoritarian thing you can do because people can't even make a decision at that point. They can't even resist because they have lies in their head. They don't even know that there's an alternative way of even viewing reality. They can't even resist. I give people the truth so that people can resist. If people don't want to follow what I say, okay, you don't have to. It doesn't matter. We're going to have the truth. Like, the truth is the most important thing because that's the only way we're going to move forward as a society. That's my belief. We can talk about that all later, but like, yeah, if you're lying about seed oils, you're trying to force other people to do things according to your worldview, and that's wrong. Okay, and on this point, he says the connection you make to disprove oxidative stress is just faulty logic. Just because antioxidants aren't efficacious doesn't mean oxidative stress is invalidated. Oxidative stress is very thoroughly researched. Okay, look, man, I'm not saying that oxidative stress is invalidated. Like, what does that mean? Of course, oxidative stress is real. Oxidative stress has been researched. Oxidative stress is a thing. The question is oxidative stress a reliable biomarker that we can say if we follow it, and if we reduce oxidative stress, we're going to get better outcomes, and if we increase oxidative stress, we're going to get worse outcomes? The answer is no, because, again, we can go to Michael Ristow's study, or his review. He has multiple reviews on this topic that are very widely cited. That doesn't, of course, mean that they're good. It could be bad, but they're widely cited and widely respected in the field. And he is considered a leading researcher in this particular area. One such review, and we'll look at two of them. One such review is called Extending Lifespan by Increasing Oxidative Stress. So this oxidative stress is actually increasing. Modalities that increase oxidative stress cause extensions in lifespan. And when you then block the oxidative stress increase from those modalities, you get a reduction in that increase in lifespan. So you don't get the increase in lifespan anymore. I'll say that again. If you increase oxidative stress, you can get increases in lifespan, and when you block that increase in oxidative stress, you block that increase in lifespan, right? Okay, cool. That's like really important to point out. The next thing is if you actually give antioxidants to decrease oxidative stress, you don't necessarily, actually, in some cases, you worsen outcomes in humans. You actually can cause cancer that way. You can cause more strokes that way. We've had like 20, 30 years of research that's been dedicated to looking at antioxidants and trying to treat various illnesses and chronic diseases with them because of the model about oxidative stress. It doesn't work. Let's look at this review that Ristow wrote. He says, various nutritional, behavioral, and pharmacological interventions have previously shown to expand lifespan in diverse model organisms, including Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which is, I think, the microorganisms that helps to produce beer, including that organism, including C. elegans, Drosophila melanogaster. So there's this worm, tiny worm called C. elegans, and there's Drosophila, which is a fly. Mice, rats, as well as possibly monkeys and humans. This review aims to summarize published evidence that several longevity-promoting interventions may converge in causing an activation of mitochondrial oxygen consumption to promote increased formation of reactive oxygen species. These serve as molecular signals to exert downstream effects to ultimately induce endogenous defense mechanisms, culminating in increased stress resistance and longevity. An adaptive response, more specifically named mitochondrial hormesis or mitohormesis. Consistently, we here summarize findings that antioxidant supplements that prevent these ROS signals, reactive oxygen species signals, interfere with the health promoting and lifespan extending capabilities of calorie restriction and physical exercise. Taken together and consistent with ample published evidence, the findings summarized here question Harman's free radical theory of aging and rather suggest that reactive oxygen species act as essential signaling molecules to promote metabolic health and longevity. So the original theory in aging research, going back to, let's look, he actually summarizes Harman's theory. It was postulated at the beginning of the 20th century that maximum lifespan of an organism is inversely proportional to the nutritive energy metabolized. Consequently, Pearl's rate of living hypothesis, formulated soon after, suggests that increased metabolic rate results in decreased lifespan in eukaryotes. A feasible molecular cause for this hypothesis was promoted in 1956 by Harman, who connected metabolic activity, especially that of respiratory enzymes, the formation of potentially harmful reactive oxygen species, ROS. Accordingly, increased metabolic rate would promote ROS formation, which subsequently causes damage within the cell and beyond. The accumulation of these damages results in age-related decline of cellular functions and ultimately to the death of the organism. Up till now, the so-called free radical theory of aging has become a popular and frequently cited theory in aging research. However, more recent findings regarding the question whether calorie restriction actually decreases calorie metabolic rate are, at least in part, inconsistent with the free radical theory of aging. Hence, it has been reported that calorie restriction increases metabolic rate in the nematode and well-established model organism for aging of research C. elegans. Furthermore, a positive correlation between low metabolic rate and enhanced lifespan can also be observed in Drosophila. And they go on to say, it ends up being pointed out that caloric restriction actually increases oxidative stress. Let's look at a couple more things. So he actually talks about this in some detail. ROS lowering interventions were widely promoted as anti-aging strategy in humans as a result of Harman's free radical theory of aging. Antioxidants, a group of synthetic or naturally occurring substances which are capable of scavenging free radicals, were extensively examined in this regard. Unexpectedly, and in contrast to some of the above-mentioned work in lower organisms, several prospective clinical intervention studies were unable to show a positive association between supplement with antioxidants and health beneficial effects. Whereas most studies found a lack of effect in regards to health promotion in humans, other reports even suggest that antioxidants may promote cancer growth. Moreover, supplementation with antioxidants has been linked to increased incidence of a number of diseases with adverse effects on human longevity. Not surprisingly, these findings question Harman's free radical theory of aging and require a different point of view concerning the role of mitochondrial reactive oxygen species formation. Accordingly, numerous findings have emerged in recent years indicating that reactive oxygen species may evoke cellular signaling that promotes metabolic health and longevity. And we can go on. It's just like, and then there's a whole bunch of different things that show that this is the case, that show more reactive oxygen species actually can help with longevity. There's knockout models showing if you knock out reactive oxygen species formation, you actually impair lifespan of these animals. The point being that this whole theory of reactive oxygen species being bad or oxidative stress being bad is not necessarily true. Oxidative stress biomarkers are not reliable biomarkers for disease. This is in contrast to biomarkers like LDL cholesterol. Now, you can reduce LDL cholesterol through some mechanisms that are harmful, and you can, for example, you can have a heart attack, and a heart attack will reduce LDL cholesterol, right? So there are some mechanisms by which reducing LDL cholesterol is bad, right? But all else equal, if LDL cholesterol is the only thing that's changing, it will be good. And if you can change other things along with LDL cholesterol that also are not bad, which is what happens with statins. Statins reduce LDL cholesterol. They also do other things that aren't bad and in some cases might be helpful. You're still going to get a good effect. But all else equal, if you reduce LDL cholesterol, you'll have a very powerful positive effect on the organism. In this case, human beings, especially since we're relatively predisposed to cardiovascular disease. This is very different from oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is not a validated biomarker of longevity, of disease prevention. It's not well established in that regard. There has been thousands and thousands and thousands of papers published on oxidative stress. It is a real thing. Oxidative stress markers are real. Oxidative stress is a real biological phenomenon. You do have reactive oxygen species. It does play a role in aging. It does play a role in damaging cellular components, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the relationship between oxidative stress and longevity is much more complicated than was previously supposed in the 1950s. This has been shown over the course of 70 years of research. That's all that's being said. So whenever this guy says, it's very thoroughly researched. Yeah, it's thoroughly researched, my man. That doesn't mean it's a good biomarker. Like, you have to be up to date and understand what the research actually says. It's not a good biomarker for aging. It's just not. You can increase ROS and get longevity. You can reduce ROS and impair longevity, and that's causal. Actually, by reducing ROS, you're actually causally reducing lifespan through the reduction in ROS. ROS is a crucial and critical signaling molecule for the proper and appropriate functioning of the organism. And if you reduce it, you can actually impair the longevity of the organism. Okay? So if you see an increase in reactive oxygen species or oxidative stress markers as a result of feeding seed oils, it doesn't mean necessarily that you're reducing the longevity of that organism, in this case human beings, even assuming that we could show that in randomized controlled trials, that we increase the biomarkers, this biomarker of oxidative stress biomarkers. Even if we showed that in randomized controlled trials, it doesn't necessarily mean we're reducing the longevity of humans. It could mean we're increasing the longevity of humans. I'm not going to go so far. I'm not going to go so far as to suggest that increasing reactive oxygen species actually increases longevity in humans, because we don't know, right? But we do know that seed oils have very potent LDL lowering cholesterol capacities, as well as in the highest quality randomized controlled trial evidence, they tend to promote longevity. There are some randomized controlled trials in which they do not. There are serious methodological problems in these trials. And then you combine that with the mechanistic data, you combine that with the epidemiological data, you combine that with the data from LDL cholesterol lowering treatments. Unless there's something we don't know about seed oils, and there's plenty that we don't know about seed oils, right? Overall, we would assume that they are better than consuming the alternative, which is like saturated fat, butter, etc., which is all the point that is being made here. Actually, I didn't even make that point. I'm making it here. I was just making the point about oxidative stress. Using an oxidative stress biomarker is very misleading, and it shows a lack of understanding about how clinical medicine actually works. Clinical medicine doesn't work by tracking biomarkers. You actually have to test the intervention in a randomized controlled trial, right? You have to actually show in a randomized controlled trial that these effects are real. You can't show that for seed oils. It has never been shown. The overall body of evidence indicates that seed oils are actually better than butter. And so what did they show? So showing that oxidative stress biomarkers increase doesn't show anything, especially given that the oxidative stress free radical theory of aging has been in large part falsified, or at least significantly modified from what it was originally, to such an extent that actually decreasing reactive oxygen species is harmful. This is all the point that's trying to be made. And so he says to me, it's like, the connection you make to disprove oxidative stress is just faulty logic. I don't know where he's saying it's faulty logic. Just because antioxidants aren't efficacious doesn't mean oxidative stress is invalidated. No, what it means is that the interventions that we have to reduce oxidative stress do not improve outcomes. That's all. This is not a reliable biomarker for looking at and saying, oh, well, are we likely to see an improved outcome? It's not. It's not a reliable biomarker. That's all I'm pointing out. It's all I'm pointing out. And if you are aware of the latest research on oxidative stress biomarkers and oxidative stress, then you would know that this is true based on what I've just talked to you about, okay? And he says, also, the paper you cherry-picked to show oxidative stress has a possible good, has a weak premise for that conclusion, correlative at best and likely related to burden of processing the excess antioxidants. It's just he made this up. He made this up. I don't know where he gets this from. He made this up. And I don't think anybody in the field believes that. It's like, so this guy's making things up now, and maybe that's what the other YouTuber who was mad about my video on Paul Saladino said, but this is now being made up to say that I said that, like, or that this is why reactive oxygen species and oxidative stress is not important. And he says oxidative stress is known to cause damage. Yeah, it causes damage. Everything can cause damage. Anything can cause damage. What does that even mean, to cause damage? Yeah, but it can also like enhance longevity, right? Like it can do anything. It can do so many things. So like you have to test it in an actual trial to see what it does. You can't just assume that based on the mechanism. That's mechanistic speculation. You can't assume based on mechanistic plausibility that something's going to work. That's what we've shown in my videos. Health and misinformation dominates on social media. I showed that very clearly. I can show that again. Let's show that again real quick. Show that again real quick for you guys, because you guys need to see this study. So there's this study from, I think 2020. It's called Estimation of Clinical Trial Success Rates and Related Parameters. It's from 2018, Biostatistics, a journal called Biostatistics. First author is Chi-Heem Wang. Okay. If you look at the rate of success of drugs in randomized controlled trials, you see that starting from a randomized controlled trial, going to the end, it's quite rare that a very promising, plausible new treatment actually succeeds and makes it to FDA approval. That's because things that are highly plausible, that people want to spend millions and millions of dollars on because it seems plausible, generally don't pan out. If you look at overall success rate from start to finish, it's about 14%. So 86% of all promising plausible drugs don't actually make it through randomized controlled trial. And this is not even all, there's not even all of them, right? Because not even all drugs end up making it to phase 1. That not even all get tested. Some of them have other harms, other problems with them. So among those, it's like there's a really large number of those. And so among the ones that actually make it to getting like millions of dollars of funding, only like 13, 14% actually get approved and shown to have more benefit than harm. And so that's like the basic idea. It's like you can't, on the basis of some biomarker study, say, oh, this is going to be harmful or not. Overwhelmingly, you're going to be wrong. Overwhelmingly, it's going to be neutral. Overwhelmingly, there's going to be no effect of your plausible hypothesis. Overwhelmingly, it's going to be a wash, or it's going to be harmful. So if you think like, let's change oxidative stress, let's modulate it through some antioxidant. Well, guess what? You just cause like lung cancer. That's what happened in the beta carotene trials, man. Guess what? You're not helping cardiovascular mortality. You're just taking an expensive vitamin for no reason. So that's how scientific hypotheses and translation to actual clinical care works. Most things don't translate because most things are freaking wrong. Most things either have no effect or are harmful. It's because biology is complicated. There's more going on in the biological system than just that one thing that's changing. There's other compensatory changes. There's other changes that are happening in parallel. You can't predict on the basis of one change in one biomarker that you're going to get one effect. It doesn't work like that. Okay, cool. That said, let's continue on with the rest of what he said. He says, for stearic acid, you really focus on the hyperbole that Saladino uses, but there's a lot of great new research on its ability to affect everything from mitochondrial health to cell membrane stability. Here's just one. Yeah, nobody questions that stearic acid has some potential clinical application or application in people's health. There's like no question. Nobody denies that. Nobody like argues about that. That's great. I don't think anybody, for example, I don't think anybody says, oh no, it's absolutely not the case. Here's the thing, is you have like millions and millions and millions of different compounds and things that have that potential. What is the actual outcome data? I don't care what mitochondrial health or cell membrane stability says. Most of the time when you add things that have like good effects on mitochondrial health to cell membrane stability, they're either not going to help you or they're going to hurt you. The number of times where they provide more benefit than risk, the proportion is really low. It's really low. It's like maybe even single digits percent of the time. Most of the time, the things that you change you think are going to happen and help you don't. That's the reason. The reason for that is like helping you in a targeted manner, helping you work physiologically, helping your health in a targeted manner is really difficult. It's really difficult to choose one mechanism and like hone in on it and be right about it. Because the body is very complicated and there's things that are going to happen that you weren't predicting. That's why him citing this stuff on mitochondrial health and cell membrane stability is not legitimate. And if the YouTuber who made a big deal about me and got all his followers to come mob my channel said something like this, then, you know, it's just nonsense. I don't know if he says something like this. I'm never going to go watch the video. It's just it's not important enough for me to watch. But if he says something like this, it's like, this is nonsense. And he says, this is where he makes it out to be about my feelings. He says, I get that you don't like the guy for being shirtless or displaying supplements. It's not why I don't, it's not even like I don't like him. It's more like I don't respect him that much, but it's like it's not even that I don't like him. Or at least we could say I don't not respect him. I could say he's kind of a lost soul at best. And it has nothing to do with him being shirtless or having supplements. The reason he's shirtless and has supplements there is because he has a business. That's why he's saying the things he's saying, because he's trying to promote his business. That's why if you watch the video, it's not just even one take. He has really complicated and sophisticated editing in that show. He's obviously got somebody doing that for him, a professional person doing that for him to edit his social media videos. Why? Why is he paying somebody to edit social media videos? Because he has a business. This is what it's about. The point about him being shirtless and having supplements on the back is because he has a business. That's what the messaging is in this video. I'm marketing my business. And I want people to understand that this isn't just about science. This is about his business. Okay, but then he goes on. But most of what he stated, ignoring the hyperbole, is research-backed. Again, where is anything that this guy said research-backed? Like, yeah, there's research on stearic acid. There's research on all of these things. There's like hundreds of thousands of papers on hundreds of thousands of different compounds being published every year. That doesn't mean that everything's research-backed. You can like make grandiose health claims about everything. Then you could say everything's research-backed. Do you guys understand that? Like, everything's research-backed then. Because then because everything has research on it, so it's all research-backed. It's just like, if the papers fly, okay. I definitely acknowledge some of my own personal bias based on what I've found to be healthy for me. This rebutting thing is fun. I get why you do it. Yeah, I mean, it's fun. Why did I like that? I'm going to unlike it. Okay. Yeah, it's fun. It's just like, you're just like not. Okay. So if anybody has any other criticisms, like scientific criticisms of anything I said, like leave it like this. I'll actually respond. I might maybe make videos to some of your scientific criticisms if you make good ones. Or at least if you make ones that might be interesting or informative for my audience. I'm not going to like block you if you engage with me scientifically, even if like what you say is not good. I'll try to respond. In fact, if you look at my response below there, I wrote a wall of text to him. He didn't even respond to it. He didn't like it. He didn't nothing. It's like I wrote a wall of text to him explaining like 3 different things, and he didn't respond at all. It's like, okay, I thought he said it's fun. This rebutting thing is fun. Okay, whatever. But anyway, yeah, that's what I got, you know? So, Paul Saladino, he likes to live within nature. He doesn't use deodorant. He doesn't use toothpaste. He doesn't use sunscreen. What he does use is he goes to a hair salon and he gets highlights. He uses hair gel to make his hair look beautiful during his videos. He goes to the barber shop on a regular basis to make sure his hair looks consistently good. He shaves daily, every day, perfectly with a modern razor. I don't think he probably maybe he uses a blade now. Maybe he uses a blade because that's his thing now. But he definitely uses the modern amenities to enhance his appearance. But I guess because we can't smell him on Instagram, he advocates things that are stinky. I don't know. I hope you guys liked this video. If you guys did, please share it and comment on the content itself. I'm going to split off the oxidative stress part into a separate video, but comment on the content itself and let me know what you think. Are you learning something? Am I teaching? Is this stuff helpful to you? Do you have questions? Are there holes that you want to see me address? Holes in the arguments, holes in the data, things that you're not sure about, things I didn't address sufficiently for your liking? I would love to hear about it so I can start addressing it. And also, I get so many comments, and I want to do so many videos. I get like 20 new comments, about 20 new videos I need to do every day. So I can't address everything. So if there's something you really want me to do, and you're like a long-standing fan, or you're going to be a long-standing fan, like bring it up every once in a while. You know what I mean? Like write it down somewhere. I should probably write down all the comments of new videos. It's just, yeah, that's what I'm gonna start doing. I'm gonna start writing everything down and make a big list so that I can try to get to as much as I can over the course like the next year or 2. But if there's something you really want to see done and I've not done it yet, like bring it up to me once a month, you know? Drop it in the comments, like remind me and be like, hey, this is really important. Because that way I'll know to prioritize it. And send me a message, send me questions, leave comments here if you have any questions. And you can also find me on Twitter, Patreon, or Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Patreon at Kevin Bass, KVINNBASS on Patreon. You can support me and help me to make this stuff better. I have like three little kids, and helping them out is good. The more money I get, the more I can justify what I'm doing. Right now, I'm on the border of being able to justify it. I'm monetizing, and we're getting to the point where I'm on the border. But the more money, the more clean on that border I am going to be, and the more I can justify the time I spend doing this. Because I could help out with the childcare more, but the justification is that I'm doing this, so I'm not helping out as much. So if you want to see more videos and you want to see me keep doing the videos, supporting me will allow me to keep doing them instead of having to babysit my kids, which I love doing. I love my kids, I love my daughters, and I love my son. But if you want to see videos, if you personally, selfishly want to see videos, and you're finding them useful, then hit me up and donate, because that will allow me to justify my time doing this. And then also get a babysitter when we need it as well, because maybe that could be an alternative thing that we could do with the money I'm getting. So yeah, cool. Share this, subscribe. Click subscribe at the bottom. Follow me on those different social media platforms, and also follow me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Leave a review, leave a rating. That would be awesome. And I hope you guys like this. Hope you guys enjoyed. Check the website, the.wars.com. Peace.